Okay, we're in section 11, and we're talking about the SAGE code. Again, for students that want to, they can go to the website, use the CoCalc interactive worksheet, or you can install it on your computer, whatever works for you. I really mean that, including you want to use different software. Don't think there's some kind of religious thing here where you have to use SAGE or anything else. You have to use what works for you. And there's a variety of, excuse me, there's a variety of tools out there. And the more tools that you can work, the better this is going to be for you. The bottom line, it really kind of, it devolves to, can you code? All right. And I'm going to say that, most people have a rough idea how to code something, but the goal here is to be able to, give me 1 second here, is to be able to understand what this code is and what it's producing. All right. We're not asking to memorize. All right. So let's take a look. And I think we've done this a number of times. Reset. This gives us a clean sheet of paper, so to speak. It basically purges any memory that I've left over from another problem I was doing. Now, notice we're defining three variables here: X, A, and H. And this pertains to what we're doing in this section of the notes, by the way. These are variables. First variable is X. The second variable is A. And the third variable is H. And then I'm going to divide a function F. F of X is being assigned. The equal is an assignment operator, square root X plus 1. Oops. Okay. Now, I'm going to point out that df, whoops, I typed that wrong, didn't I? df is a function of two variables, and those variables are going to be X, comma, A. And what is that? Well, let's take a look at it. It is a difference quotient. So you get F of X minus F of A. This is also called average value, divided by X minus A. Now remember, if you type something incorrectly in Sage, it's going to let you know you typed something incorrectly. All right. So F takes a single argument. DF takes two arguments, and the two arguments for DF are both X and A. Now I want to do the limit, oops, of the function DF, and I'm going to say X, comma 1. So now what am I saying? I'm saying that A is equal to 1, and I'm going to say we want X to be equal to 1 now. So I hope you realize this is a limit as X approaches 1 of the average value, and that's F of X minus F of 1 over X minus 1. And we've done this prior, all right? Now, certainly when we do that, we get an answer to it. We could have done that by hand, and we actually did that one by hand. That's using that definition of the derivative. That's a derivative, by the way. Let's do G of X. G of X is a rational function, 1 plus X, divided by 1 minus X. All right, and then we want to do limit. And let's write this down. And this is the difference quotient. G H plus X minus G of X. That's the top. We'll divide it by H. And we want H to go towards 0. And I get it. It's 1 over 2x squared minus 2x plus 1. All right. So what I want to do is I want to go back to the notes. I want to see if I've learned anything. And again, the hope is that you're studying. I mean, if you're not studying, you're not learning anything. Study takes a lot of work, by the way. So I'm going to look at a problem that certainly might look difficult to you, but let's take a look. And I got to look at a problem that, maybe kind of looking back over it. I know it's tough. Some say it's way too much work for me to do. And certainly the more work you put into this, the better. All right. The more work you put in this, the better. And I think I might want to do, let's do this one here. Okay. So I'm going to define the function f of x now to be equal to 1 divided by the square root. Now, I know there tends to be people want to put down 7x. This is a bad idea because Sage needs to be told it's 7 times x. You're going to make errors though. Let me hit the return button. Now what I want to do, limit at the top, which is f of 28 plus h. We're just learning how to use software now. Minus f of 28 divided by h, comma, h is going to go towards 0. Let's see what happens. And again, you might make mistakes. It gives me that number over there. Well, let's scroll through this. And I want to point out that you were expected, maybe not, you haven't done it yet, but you're expected to work through that work. You're expected to get this. And what do you get in the end? Minus 1 over 784. We're getting the same answer. Again, you may decide that, oh, I want to do all the problems by software. This is not what you want to do. You want to be able to do things by hand, simple things. And these are simple things. Then you're going to do the next step up. How can a machine do these simple things? And you're going to get prepared later, certainly down the pipeline, of course. Later on, you're going to learn how to do really difficult problems using software. All right. Again, you could scroll back over the notes. You could look at them and try to figure out what's going on over here. You might have a tough time coding these things, though. And the deal about this is sometimes it's harder to code something than it is to do things by hand. And a majority of these problems are really simple problems, super simple problems. All right. So make sure you know what we're talking about. As we go through the problem set, make sure you can do these things by hand. However, you also want to look at the Sage code to see if you can do the Sage code. We're not asking you to memorize Sage code, and we're not asking you to use Sage code on the exams or on the homework. All right. Thank you.